Hello, my name is Bormans, and I want to show you something that has changed my life dramatically. These marbles. This sack of marbles. Normally I'm traveling the world doing research on happiness and love and hope, and I have written international bestsellers based on this research on happiness, what makes us happy, what makes us lovable people, what gives us hope. I've met the great leaders of the world sharing their ideas on hope and love. And then, at a certain moment 5 years ago, there came a refugee camp in our street. 500 refugees were invited to come and live there, and the village was in panic. Everybody was afraid. And I went to the corner of the street with my wife, and I saw a man and 2 children and his wife, and I said, "Are you refugees? Are you refugees?" "Yes." "Where do you come from?" "From Afghanistan." "First time Europe?" "Yes, first time Europe." "First time safe?" "Yes, yes, yes." I said, "Shall we drink a cup of coffee?" This has become the most important moment of my life. It has changed my life dramatically. I was doing all this research on hope and happiness, and at the corner of my street I meet someone who comes from the unhappiest place in the world, the place where there's no hope. And we meet each other. And he starts telling me the story of his own village, where there was nothing. No chairs, no bed, no television, no electricity, no water. The school was gone in explosion. The only thing he had was his marbles. The marbles is a national sport in Afghanistan for the poor people. And then the Taliban came, and the war on terror came, and his life was destroyed, and he wanted to do something for his country. He went to the capital, Kabul, to help the soldiers. Came from the one explosion after the other. This man has seen so many dead people in his life, in the village where he was living, and in the city. There was no escape. They murdered his father because he helped the Americans and the Europeans, and he had to escape. There was no other way. And on his flight, he lost his young son. There was this only 2 girls left, girls of 2 and 4 years old. They were in the boats. They saw all these terrible things happening. They arrive in Europe. Europe says, "We don't allow you. Go back." 3 times again, he got a message to leave the country, living on the street. And in the refugee camp, they asked him, "You can put your valuable things in the locker." And the only thing he could imagine that he could give for the locker was this sack of marbles, in which he said, this is the only valuable thing I have. And he has given these 8 marbles a name. The name of his son, the name of his father, the name of all the people he has left. And that's the only thing that he could imagine that was expressing the priorities in his own life. And he was telling me the stories of his mother, telling the stories of Rostam, the great hero who could fight with dragons and lived for 1,000 years. And he told me the story of his father, that he was his father wanted to plant a garden full of granate apples and bringing hope in his life. But he could not realize all these things. The only thing he could do was to leave the country and to look for some survival somewhere in the world for the 2 girls he's left. And the only thing I could do was write their story in a book called The Qadir's Lost Marbles. And this book brings the story, the unbelievable story of what a man can do to save the love for his children and his wife. These children are doing well, but you know the situation in Afghanistan. Things are going worse and worse and worse. The Taliban have destroyed all the musical instruments of the national orchestra. They push people to live in a way they do not want to live. He tells me, Qadir tells me, I'm not a mahajer. I'm not a refugee. I'm not born like a refugee. I'm born as a man, a father for his children, and I want to live and to have a normal life, but that's impossible. So this has resulted in the most confronting book you can read for the moment. It's called Qadir's Lost Marbles, based on the Belgian book or the Dutch book, The Knikkers van Qadir. And I invite you to meet this man in all his dreams, in all his terror, in all his hope. To meet a real person and to meet yourself, because there is a hidden refugee in all of us. See you in Qadir's Last Marbles.